Beetlejuice. It's finally time I get to talk about this movie. Man, this is a movie I love and I've wanted to talk about on my channel for years. In fact, I could do a whole video series talking about Tim Burton movies because, just some little background to my experience with this movie. I went through a Tim Burton obsession, as I think a lot of people my age do. And it's really unfortunate they do because, to be honest with you, Tim Burton is not a good director. He has had some great movies and at one point and at one time was a great director, but he's not made a good movie. Actually, scratch that. He has not made a great movie in about 20 years. His last good movie, or at least decent movie, was Frankenweenie back in 2012. It is the year 2024 at the time of making this recording, and Beetlejuice 2 has not come out yet, so I don't really know, but it's been a long ass time since that guy has made a good movie. And he's done a lot of subpar remakes and very lazy things with his career. But he will also always have a soft spot because he was one of the first directors I knew by name. He was one of the first directors I remember specifically going and digging through his catalog of movies, talking about how much I love his movies. And you know, he really made me realize, oh, there's an art to this filmmaking thing. You know, there's a reason that the effects look the way they do and things like that. And so, yeah, even though movies like this I probably should not have been watching like at 8-10 years old, maybe. There's some language in this movie, a lot of suggestive themes and ideas that maybe I shouldn't have been watching. There's a part where Beetlejuice goes to a strip club, and I probably should not have, and I did not understand the context of that at all, but now when I watch it, it is very funny, and I love that part, but, yeah. That's kind of my experience with Tim Burton movies. One of these, I think, every time we have a new Tim Burton movie, or show, since he does stuff like Wednesday now, I'm probably gonna, dig up one of his old movies, review it for you guys. But Beetlejuice, I'm reviewing, of course, because I have Beetlejuice on the way, and I do have a review already shot for the Beetlejuice animated series, so stay tuned for all the Beetlejuice content. I will not be talking about Beetlejuice the musical, but, yeah. Beetlejuice is a great movie. And it's kind of an interesting movie for a few reasons. A lot of these people now are not going to be in the sequel. Alec Baldwin has kind of been outed a little bit after his action, after what happened on the set of his movie Rust. You can look into all these details. I won't really share that with you. The dad in this movie went to prison and I believe is still in prison, if I'm not mistaken, for some reasons I won't get into here. The actor who played Ortho is dead now, R.I.P. And Michael Keaton is, after being in this movie, went on to be Batman and became more of a dramatic actor and had a completely different turn. So, like, this whole movie is kind of a hodgepodge of certain people at their heights of their careers and or just before their careers changed and they became in the height of their career. It's kind of an interesting little hodgepodge of people here. And this really, and this is Burton at the height of his career. When he just came off of Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and then he did this movie, and he's gonna, go over and do Batman 1989 and Batman Returns and some of these other projects, And so it's kind of an interesting little look into the career of this guy, who was kind of just at his A game. And he's about to do some pretty good stuff in the 90s with Ed Wood and Mars Attacks and different stuff. And not while he didn't direct Nightmare Before Christmas, he still had a lot of involvement with that movie. And so this was kind of an interesting time for Burton. And it's kind of interesting to see all that. I think what's also great about this movie is this movie's just great. First of all, it's got such a great dark sense of humor that just works. Everybody in this movie has top comedic energy, especially Ortho. I love him in this movie. Michael Keaton's great as Beetlejuice. Michael Keaton's so bizarre in these movies because at this point in his career, he was doing like comedy movies, and this was another example of it. But it's a very different type of comedy movie, right? This is like more horror, dark comedy, but like, it was different from other comedies he was doing, like Mr. Mom, you know, and and then he went on to be Batman like the year right after this movie, and then he went on to do some dramatic stuff, and I love Michael Keaton, right? But this is really, I think, where most people recognize Michael Keaton. Like, Michael Keaton had been around and stuff, but not like in this movie. And then when he was Batman, he blew to the A-list, But before it was Beetlejuice, and that's really great. Danny Elfman's score for this movie is incredible, and I think the of course the effects are incredible. All the practical effects, the amazing stop motion, miniatures, and cool designs throughout all of this movie is just great. And the lighting of this movie is so great. It's got a very distinct look and style in some of the sequences. And I rewatching this movie, I was kind of thinking, why did we all want a Beetlejuice sequel for a while? And then, because I remember wanting it, but that was just because I was dumb and, anything Tim Burton I just wanted more of. And then I watched this movie and now I get it. Because the way they do the spirit world here is so good. They set up rules and it's very complex, but it's also super easy to understand and follow in so many weird ways. But you see how they could expand that and do so much cool stuff with it. And honestly, rewatching the trailers for Beetlejuice 2 after that, I kind of feel like maybe that's where they're going. Could be wrong. I'm still very cautious about that movie. I don't know how well it's going to work out. I have tickets for the release screening, though, so I can't wait. But still, I think that this movie is such a special little movie that, honestly, I don't think you can replicate because of how many of these people are not going to be in the new one for obvious reasons. Alec Baldwin's not going to be in it. You're not going to have the guy who plays the dad, the guy who plays Ortho, I'm forgetting their names. Apologize. But, and you're not going to have Burton at the height of his career. And, even in the new movie, you could see that while this movie was very bold and risky, it's a very weird concept for a movie that he was able to pull off so effectively. You kind of see, oh, wait, he's kind of doing some lazier choices in the new one. Really, Jenna Ortega? Okay. Where here a lot of the casting is not really easy casting. Michael Keaton, yeah, he done comedies, but not like this. So, yeah.